In this video, we will be talking about the genomic analysis of COVID-19 for April 24th, 2020. For the full situation report and more regionally focused analyses, please visit our website at nextstrain.org. Today, our focus will be on cases in Africa. For this report, we have analyzed 1,338 publicly shared SARS-CoV-2 genomes. By comparing these viral genomes to each other, we can characterize how COVID-19 is moving around the world and spreading locally. We currently have sequences from samples taken in 6 continents. In Africa, we have samples from 7 countries. While this data enables us to infer many useful characteristics of the outbreak and track its spread in real time, it's important to emphasize that our conclusions are limited by the available data. For example, the map shows relatively few sequences from East Africa. This is not because COVID-19 isn't circulating in these areas or that these cases are not as crucial to understand. Rather, we just don't have much data available from these areas. Keep in mind that the size of each circle on the map indicates how much data is currently available from that area, rather than the true size of the outbreak. At the time of writing this week's report, the Africa CDC reported 26,144 confirmed COVID-19 cases and 1,247 deaths across the African Union. For the latest updates, you can visit their website at africacdc.org. We have viral genomes from 83 of these cases from 7 African nations. These samples span the full diversity of the tree, indicating that there have been many independent introductions to the African continent. Many of these introductions appear to be from Europe, although this may be skewed by the fact that we have more sequences from Europe than most other places in the world. We can't rule out the possibility of unsampled intermediate transmissions elsewhere. We don't see evidence that all of these introductions have led to community transmission, but we see clear clusters in some locations. In the DRC, there are 359 confirmed cases of COVID-19 with 25 deaths. These sequences fall across the tree with evidence for at least 7 separate introductions. As shown here, introductions look like a color change between a virus sample, which can be seen at the tips of the tree, and its ancestors, which can be seen with the internal nodes or branch points that lead to it. Here, we can see 7 places where the colors have changed from gray to orange, representing an introduction. From these 7 introductions, we see evidence for at least 2 local transmission chains. In the zoomed-in divergence view, we can see 2 clusters representing likely local transmission. Local transmission looks like a tight cluster of cases from the same location, sampled over time with accumulating genetic diversity. Towards the top of this view, we see a cluster of cases from Kinshasa all sampled between March 9th and March 22nd. Towards the middle, we see another cluster of cases sampled between March 15th and April 6th. From this, we can conclude that at least 2 separate transmission chains were circulating between early March and early April 2020. Similar to the patterns found in the DRC, here we see samples from Senegal spanning the full genetic diversity of the tree. The phylogenetic placement of these samples indicate that there were at least 8 separate introductions to Senegal between late February and late March. As we reported in our April 3rd situation report, at least 2 of these introductions in late February or early March have led to ongoing local transmission clusters in Dakar and Tauba. There are currently 215 known active cases of COVID-19 there. There are 1,154 confirmed cases of COVID-19 in Ghana with 9 known deaths. On Nextstrain, there are 14 sequences from Ghana, which are spread across the phylogenetic tree, representing at least 7 separate introductions. Here we see a cluster of closely related samples from the Greater Accra region of Ghana, sampled between March 25th and March 30th. The common ancestor of these cases dates to mid-February or early March, and was most likely imported from Asia. Interestingly, there is a sample from Senegal that groups tightly with this cluster, suggesting that the possibility of transmission between Senegal and Ghana. Here, we see samples isolated from Algeria, Gambia, Nigeria, and South Africa. These samples are scattered across the full tree and are largely isolated from one another. This is evidence for many separate introductions, largely from Europe, to many nations in Africa. Without more data, we can't yet say which, if any, of these sparks resulted into local outbreaks. The WHO reports outbreaks of over 3,400 cases in South Africa, over 2,800 cases in Algeria, and over 500 cases in Nigeria. In conclusion, here are some takeaways from today's report on Africa. There has been many separate introductions of SARS-CoV-2 to the African continent, primarily from Europe, although sampling bias may contribute to this inference. There has been 7 introductions to the DRC, which have led to at least 2 separate transmission chains circulating in Kinshasa. Similarly, there has been 8 introductions to Senegal, which seeded local transmission chains in Dakar and Tauba. SARS-CoV-2 has been introduced to Ghana at least 7 times with local transmission in Greater Accra. There have been scattered introductions to Algeria, Gambia, Nigeria, and South Africa. We don't yet have enough samples to infer local transmission from the sequence data. Here are some steps you can take as an individual. Practice strict social distancing, especially if you're in a vulnerable group. Remember that even if you're not super vulnerable, many people around you are. Follow these practices to protect others. Wear a mask when you're in public. A homemade mask also works well. Wash your hands like you just chopped a jalapeno and have to change a contact lens. Stay home as much as possible, especially if you're sick. And lastly, if you're an employer, encourage your employees to stay home whenever possible. Here are some other steps your officials can take. Some examples are to make testing free and broadly available, put strong social distancing measures in place, fund and implement extensive contact tracing efforts, and lastly, financially support those impacted by social distancing measures. We would like to acknowledge the amazing and timely work done by all scientists involved in this outbreak. Check out our weekly reports, which are also available in different languages on our website.